Welcome back to Punch Drunk Nerd, the podcast where three friends, three amigos, three bambinos come together to talk about nerd shit. I have to keep my quiet voice on because my wife is auditioning next door. But that's not going to stop the episode because we have to podcast every Wednesday. So here we are. My name is Luis Gonzalez, and with me is
Miguel Sanchez.
That's right. And this week, we are going to talk about the Penguin. And we have a special guest today, and you're going to find out. He's a first-time guest, but he's great. We're going to have a great time. But before we do all that, we got to talk about the news, baby.
Yes.
Miguel, what happened this week?
You guys, PlayStation, we talked a week or so ago about the Emmys being like, what is this? Every weekend we're talking about the Emmys? That's how I feel about PlayStation's state of play.
Dude,
every other week.
I saw a tweet. I was like, again, we're doing this again? Like, how many state of plays do we have to do?
Oh, for real. Because like today, they were like, a few weeks back, they were like, oh, next week we're talking state of play. And you're like, wait, didn't we just do that?
Yeah.
And honestly, the last like 3 or 4 state of plays, it feels like, is that it? So it's like, why are we doing this so many times? In fact, that was kind of like the social, I'm going to talk about it later in the episode, but hey, finger on the pulse. All right. Social Sanchez. Okay. Mm-hmm. The internet's like, is that all they did? Because yesterday, the day before, they were like, I hope I see this. I hope I see this. One of the things they talked about was like, if we don't see Spider-Man 2 DLC, you should just go ahead and assume it's scrapped.
Right.
And guess what? We didn't see.
Well, I can't assume that. I feel like that's going to happen. I was just thinking about that the other day. I feel like that's going to happen.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I'll see it when I see it. But I tell you what, out of all the state of play things, and I finally went back and saw them all. But the thing that I was like, I can't wait to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Luis, you play PlayStation?
I do. I'm officially a PlayStation fuckboy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Ghost of Tsushima?
No, but I hear like really good things about it, and I really want to play it.
You know why? Because it's one of the greatest games of all time. Okay. And they are turning around making, I'm going to be loud, even though you're not.
Okay, please.
They are making a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, but guess what, Luis?
What is it?
They are not continuing the story from the first game. They are jumping forward hundreds of years into the future. I think Ghost of Tsushima took place in the 12 or 1300s. This game is taking place in the 1600s. So it's a new protagonist, and there's a new ghost of Japan. It's the game is called Ghost. Oh shit! Hang on. Ghost of Tsushima was the original game, obviously, and the new game is going to be Ghost of. How many times are they going to say Ghost of Tsushima in this fucking article?
It's for the algorithm. They have to keep repeating.
Ghost
it in the
of
article.
Yotei. I hope I'm saying that right. Ghost of Yotei, perhaps.
Okay.
And listen, Jin Sakai was the first Ghost of Tsushima. He was the original protagonist of the series. This is a new character. It's a lady ghost. Okay. And so immediately Twitter was like, I can't wait to hear what the, you know what I mean? The assholes of Twitter are going to be like, Ghost of Tsushima went woke. You're like, okay, whatever. Who gives a shit? No, but she looks super dope. The original game is so good. It's one of those games that people talk about as like the greatest game of all time.
Okay.
And I was just off the podcast. I was just telling you, I was listening to our discussion on The Last of Us Part 2, and I really feel like this is that moment for this franchise where they push the game forward. Because and that's what Sucker Punch, I think, was quoted saying was like, we don't want to just do the same old again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we want to push the boundaries of what we're doing. And Jin Sakai, who is like, a beloved character, much like Joel in The Last of Us.
Okay.
They were like, we want to push beyond that. That was the origin story of the story we're telling. We saw the footage of samurai footage, but they also had rifles and guns in this one, so it's like a level up in gameplay as well. But I just got to say, Ghost of Tsushima was one of those games where PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, whichever one you played it on, was a beautiful game to play. And it was not just the gameplay and story, but the visuals were so fun to play through. So if they are making a sequel to this game, I'm fucking down. I think it's the game that people are going to be looking for. One of the criticisms I feel like is around the PlayStation 5 in general is that there's really not like a PlayStation 5 like game. You know what I mean?
Sarah just got out of her audition, so now I'm going to talk. There's not a PlayStation 5 game, but what does Xbox have? You know what I mean? Starfield?
Hey,
that's it. You know what I mean? But at least PlayStation is bringing something to the table here.
I wanted to play Starfield, but separate as PlayStation in general has really relied on the PlayStation 4. It's like Sony is saying,
I see.
Like Sony is saying, we don't really want to commit to the next gen. Even though when the PlayStation 5 came out 4 years ago, Astrobot was the big game, the demo of because look at all the things that the controller can do and the PlayStation can do. And as much as I hate to say this, there really isn't a lot of games that came out on the PlayStation 5 that really pushed that boundary. It was really a lot of remasters. One of the things in this state of play was they're remastering the original Horizon Zero Dawn. Okay. So we got Horizon Forbidden West, which was kind of, I'm pretty sure that was the first PlayStation 5 game, and it was a great game. I loved it. Don't get me wrong. But there really is not a lot of new gen PlayStation exclusives. So if Ghost of Tsushima wants to be that next gen exclusive, it's really earned its right because Ghost of Tsushima was so good.
I got to play this game. I feel like people talk about it all the time, and it's just coming up more and more and
Baby,
more.
Guess
and more.
What?
Huh?
You can get the director's cut on the PlayStation. Oh God, what am I? The Game Plus, the new Game Plus.
Yeah. This is the thing I have about Game Plus. I'm going to say this right now. I pay $15 for Game Plus or something, but then it takes me forever. Like, how long is this game? 30 hours, 50 hours, something like that.
Now that's a journey you need to go on personally because some people love that. Okay, you're getting a full game that takes time to play, but the visuals are so good. You know,
how long did it take for you to finish Ghost of Tsushima?
Okay, so it's a muddled statistic because I definitely played it once and then I did not all the way through and then I had to start it over again when I finally got on Game Plus. But maybe 20 hours. You know,
that's not bad.
I feel like is a very appropriate game. You know,
yeah.
But it was so visually appealing.
Yeah.
And they also there were some things in Ghost of Tsushima, like the one gameplay aspect that I could say, like I could see leveled up in the PlayStation 5 is there's these moments where, how do I explain this? Where the character goes up to these like bamboo shoots and he has to take his sword and slice through the bamboo shoots. But in order to do that, there's like a key of buttons you have to press. It's like square, triangle, R2.
Oh, like DDR, but
X.
for like your hands.
Yes, and so in order to do a clean swipe, you have to hit all these buttons.
Pop.
I'm thinking, exactly. And I'm thinking about the PlayStation 5 controller, where the next gen version of that can be really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because again, Astro really showed us what all of the controller could do. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like 20 to 30 hours of gameplay for a game, even if you buy that's pretty decent. I mean,
I think I like 20 to 30 hours. Like that is my that's a good.
Listen,
and I'm willing to get it for that. Like, because if I get a Game Pass, what's going to happen is I'm going to get it, and then by the time I finish the game, I might as well just bought the game. You know what I mean? Because it's like what, $15 a month, right?
Yeah, something like that. No, I bought the year, so I have it for the 365 days.
Oh.
But you told me recently, what was it? You bought some like indie game for like $25, and that was a whole argument for us.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
I was like, I don't want to spend $25 on something so small, and especially if you're already paying that monthly. Listen, baby, you get the new iPhone every year. If you're going to go ahead and pay that new iPhone every month, then you might as well get the Game Pass.
Okay. Well, listen, I already have so many subscriptions. I could list them out to you.
I hear you.
I can't add another one to the list. You know, like that is the place you're like, okay, I have to stop, because like I'm not gaming all the time, but like, yes, I'll get into hotspots. I'll start gaming a lot and I'll lock in and then I'll stop and then I'll just have a breather room. So if I have a Game Pass, like I can't reliably do Game Pass or whatever, because I'm not going to take advantage of it fully. Like if that was my life, great deal. but
Okay.
I'll just probably get it. Well,
okay, first off,
okay. So what I mean, I didn't mean to offend you. Like, you know,
I have a life outside of this.
No,
okay,
I know.
Listen, I'm going to tell you,
like, what the fuck? You know?
Yeah, whoa, that was kind of fucked up. No, no, listen, I'm going to tell you, and I'm also going to tell our longtime fan and guest Steven Escobar. I think that both of you would love Ghost of Tsushima, and if you were going to purchase Game Pass for like a month, like a one-off month, this is the game you can play. Okay, you will get something out of it. Luis, you and I talked about Last of Us Part 2 previously. Like, this is, well, obviously not the same genre of game. You will
get caliber.
You will get that same level of game out of it, and for a free, like a one-off month or two, it will be worth completing that whole game.
Yeah, I guess you're right, because right now it is this is director's cut. I mean, it's $70 for a director's cut. Like, do I need the director's cut? I could just do the normal version. It'll be cheaper, right?
Baby, you can get the on Game Plus, you can get the director's cut for the Game Plus Game Pass. Sorry. So listen, look into it, but I'm just saying, if you were on the fence about playing that game, it is, and it doesn't necessarily need to be the PlayStation 5 version or the director's cut version. You are going to get something beautiful out of that game on the base level of it on the PS4.
Okay.
So the fact that they are coming out with a sequel, this was a game that gamers have been wanting. Okay. We are looking forward to this sequel. Ubisoft. I think they said in 2025, which is crazy because that's just next year. Okay, so that's something they've been working on in the background. You know what I mean?
They're like, we just finished. Let's do it again. You know what I mean? Right off the get-go.
Yes.
They said we're going to make the next one.
No, I can't remember when the first game came out several years ago. I can't remember the exact one, but it was one of those moments. It must have been the transition between PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Because people were talking about how they couldn't believe a late-gen PS4, early-gen PS5 game looked so good. So this is definitely one. Luis.
Yeah.
I dedicate the time, play the original game, and if you play that original game and you love it, you're going to be excited for the second one. Okay.
All right. It sounds like I'll put it on the list, as Captain America said, and Captain America Winter Soldier. Ghost of, what was it again?
Yotei or Yotei, and I apologize if I'm saying it wrong.
Ghost of Yotei coming out 2025. Put it on the list like Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers was a Marvel character. Speaking of Marvel, a new Marvel trailer dropped. Thunderbolts asterisk. That trailer dropped. Did you watch this trailer?
I did. And I saw the movie poster too, which was another thing that socials were
let's
talking
talk about the movie poster, because that was a good looking poster. You know what I mean?
Right down below. Look at it. You can see it. Okay.
I'll post it down below. You'll see
That's
the poster.
The one. That's the one. Yeah.
You'll see. No, I like that. I thought it was like a fun take. Obviously, it reminded me. It's funny because I just saw This Is the End. And then when I saw that poster, I was like, oh my God, it's just like This Is the End, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Oh my God, you should put both of those back to back because those look exactly alike.
Yeah.
And I hadn't thought about that till you just said it. Sorry, I didn't mean to get so loud.
No, totally. And then I kept diving the internet, and Reddit also said Sons of Anarchy. There was a season of Sons of Anarchy where they're doing the exact same thing. Either way, I like the look. I like the lighting of it. It doesn't look as fake as other stuff. The only one that I have a problem with is like Yelena. Like Florence Pugh looks just a little bit like she sticks out, because I know they're trying to highlight her. But it's like when you try to highlight these characters, like it makes it look fake. You know, just pick the picture with. I mean, I know it's all Photoshop, but it does look, for the most part, really cool, really fun, different. I mean, not different. Obviously, we just said two other posters that looks like. But I like it. I like the vibe of it, you know?
The examples you said, like, we don't really see those posters all that often, you know? Like Sons of Anarchy, that was years ago. You know what I mean? This Is the End, that was years ago.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we want to rehash that idea, that's not that bad.
And it fits it. Like I like it. It has a good grade to it. It's got like the composition of everyone. You get a feel of what the movie is. Like, I'm getting more excited about Thunderbolts than I am Captain America, Brave New World.
Right? I mean,
you know.
Yes,
absolutely.
100%. I saw this trailer and I was like, wait, this looks good. You know, no, I'm into it. And I like that they're incorporating some characters and moments that we've seen previously, but giving them like a new spin. Ghost from Ant-Man. Do you remember that movie?
Oh yeah, and I'm so happy they're bringing her back in because I was like, she's great. I wish they brought her back in. And these are one of the few moments that I liked about Marvel. Like they find a way to fit her back in, and she fits into the group. I feel like all the characters, like I feel like there's a kind of a charisma. There's a sort of kineticism.
Yes.
Like I'm attracted to it. Like they're all whatever. Like I want to see them on screen together. When they are on screen, I'm having a good time.
You know what socials are talking about?
No.
They're talking about the fact that, first off, the criticism of Marvel lately is it looks so bland. It looks so CGI. It looks so green screen.
Uh-huh.
The internet is saying this movie looks pretty good. You know what I mean? Like visually,
like it looks like that's what I'm saying. That's why it reminds me of Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, yeah.
Because like remember Brave New World's like we're trying to make it like Winter Soldier again, but this feels more Winter Soldier to me than Brave New World because it feels like the lighting isn't just like splattered on the wall.
God awful shot where Sam Wilson extends the wings and the flowers or whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
it's like it all feels very flat. It doesn't feel cinematic. Yes. It doesn't like this feels good, and it's got a great what's it called? Louis Dreyfus is in it too, and I was thinking about this as I was watching the trailer. Yelena, she is the best Succession character, follow-up character that we've had from the cast. Like compared from Hulk to Iron Man to everybody. Like maybe I would say I did enjoy Hawkeye, like I did enjoy Kate Bishop, but Yelena definitely takes the crown 1000%. Like
when they talk
Hawkeye
about passing
fun,
the baton, yes.
This was a successful passing of the baton. Like I like seeing her. I like seeing her on screen. Like she has a charisma. She has some groundness. She has some seriousness. Because she's not messing around.
Yes. Florence Pugh, just outside of Marvel, has this gravitas, and she brings it to this Marvel role, but she's also committing to this character in a way that it's like, I'm not just showing up for a paycheck. Like, I'm also playing this character.
The same way that Robert Downey Jr. committed to Iron Man in his own, like, personal, like, way.
Wow.
And she is also doing the same thing with this character. Like, this is a successful passing of the baton with Yelena. And I love it. Like, no one else has kind of have gotten that,
Big question.
I'm excited.
Mark.
What?
I got a question about this.
Yeah.
Okay. It's Thunderbolts asterisk.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Yeah.
And people are saying later that title may change. Do you have thoughts on this? Do you have what do you feel about this? Yeah.
I don't have predictions. I think it's a fun thing to do. I always like it when movie studios fucks with the audience. It's like, oh, it's this movie. Just kidding. Hey, it's this movie. I like that.
How many times did that Agatha show change titles?
Oh,
and it was very purposeful though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like by the end of it, they were like, oh, we were doing bits the entire time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Was it bits though, or were they actually just like not settling in on the title? We
talk about that later.
Also, the font choice at the very end, I was like, I don't like the font choice of this. Anyway, we have to talk about that. But,
I think I read something that said that Thunderbolts asterisk is going to be like Thunderbolts, like Dark Avengers or something like that. That's one of the rumors I read.
I thought it was just going to replace it. Oh, okay. Well, I guess.
Oh, you hate that? Listen, I'm just on the internet. Like I didn't write the movie, Luis.
I feel like that would make it like, all right, now we're getting serious. These are the Dark Avengers. Like this is light fun. Like don't bring it back down to whatever.
At least one of them didn't go, hey, what are we, some kind of Thunderbolts?
Yeah. Say that again. The internet was also talking about that one moment with Ghost when I think Yelena throws that knife and she phases out and she grabs it and then throws it back. I was like, ooh, that was clean.
Clean, dude. I mean, someone said like, hey, let me talk to Peyton Reed real quick. You know what I mean? Like, like, hey, bro, how did you fuck this up? Because no, for real, like same with a lot of people, like I just didn't really, at the end of the Ant-Man, I didn't really care about Ghost all that much. And I do like that they're giving these moments. Same with
Black Widow,
but the Red Guardian and the knockoff Captain America, like they're going to give him, like, I'm assuming some sort of redemption. Oh, we didn't talk about this yet.
I got to talk about something about that, but go ahead.
Do it now because I want to talk about something else. Go ahead.
I was going to talk about this because I just saw it on the internet today, but I saw people complaining about how this Captain America, he was on his phone while the baby was crying. Did you see this? He's like, what a terrible dad.
What?
Because in the trailer, it happens very quickly in the trailer. But
tell me.
you cut to the because you're feeling like it plays that song in the background.
Sure.
And then it cuts to John, right? His name is John. He cuts to John, and you hear the baby crying like "wah," and John's just right next to the baby, and he's like on his phone looking at like news programming, and people are like, "What a fucking terrible dad!" And they were attacking him as being a bad dad. That was what the internet was talking about today.
His whole bit, I know a lot of people didn't watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, but like his whole bit was he's shitty. He's not Captain America.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, of course he's not great. That's his whole bit.
Exactly. Yeah,
if he came into it day one, the moment the movie starts, and he was like, I'm great, that would suck.
I like that he has his like scruff and the Captain America helmet when you see him there.
And speaking of the poster also, because he made that Captain America shield in Falcon and Winter Soldier out of not vibranium. It's all scratched up to shit in the poster.
Oh, I didn't notice that detail. That's amazing.
It looks good. But oh god, there was
who's the director for this? Hold on, I got it now. I'm looking.
While you're looking that up, I'm thinking. Let's see. We talked about Ghost. Listen, they didn't show a lot of it, but Taskmaster is also into it, so they're also bringing in. I mean, that's Yelena, that's Red Guardian, and that's Taskmaster. That's a lot of Black Widow characters coming into it. But I do love the fake Captain America. Oh, and also Bucky's coming back, bro.
I love Bucky's looking good.
Let me ask you this: do you remember? Like 10 years ago, they signed Sebastian Stan to like 45 movies. And I was like, of course he's going to become Captain America. Like that's what they're setting up for, right? No, dude, I can't believe how many projects in Marvel he's doing.
I'm glad though.
But then he shows up in this movie, and they really give him, like in a trailer, they really give him a moment to shine. Like he brings back that like gun from Captain America.
We're fucked or whatever. Like they said, we're in trouble or something.
Yes.
That's good. That's what I like. I like to hear I don't know, power plays, like just somebody who's threatening. I want to see threats. I want to feel the threats.
They said no, and you know what? It was the knockoff Captain America. He was like, "Is that Bucky?" And he kind of had this like tone like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, that's not him. And then he shoots that grenade again. And it's like, oh, okay, we're back. Like, he's hunting down this team. But also, I've read reports that he's like the leader of the team. I don't know. We'll see. Who's directing this movie, Luis?
This is, okay. So if we're saying, this looks good and it feels good or whatever, well, he was a director for Beef, which was an Emmy-winning and Golden Globe-winning series on Netflix. He directed Minx. He directed some episode of Dave. Let's see. He directed some Kanye West music videos. He directed an episode of Shameless. He did a Haim music video. Robert and Frank. So, I mean, just looking at the Beef, to be honest, that whole thing was shot really well. And I was like, cool. He's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like a director is kind of shepherding something. It's like, hey, I want it to feel this certain way. I want it to feel grounded. I want it to feel practical. And then some directors are brought in and they're just like, hey, you're
just shoot the movie.
Just shoot the movie for hire. You know, we're putting it on a green screen. Can you figure it out? Like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll put it on the green screen. Let's go. You know, but he's like, no, I have direction. I want to do this, and this, and then you can feel it transmitted through the screen. Where other people are just a hired gun and they're just like, hey, we already got it all set up for you. Just show up and tell people if they did a good job or not, you know? And so, I mean, I'm being drastic, obviously. I'm exaggerating it, but I don't know. It seems like he seems like a very good director. I'm curious. Here's who wrote this thing too. Because that's the only thing I'm worried about is like the third act would be like a typical Marvel movie. Okay, there's a lot of writers, so I can't really tell.
It's like when you listen to a really good song on the radio and then you like find out it's written by 13 people. You're like,
yeah,
okay, all right.
Yeah, cool, we should be crediting the producers more in songs. Like, I want to know who produced that shit. You know, sometimes like, oh, this beat's great and it's by this other artist, but there's like a person who's like making those beats or like producing it. But that's for another day. Also, they should be crediting the editor for trailers as well. That's a whole other discussion I have as well.
Can I ask one last thought about this before we move on?
Yeah.
Listen, they were calling it a teaser trailer. Did you see the runtime for this trailer?
Oh, you're right. It felt like a normal trailer.
It was like 3 minutes long.
You know, when they said teaser trailer, I was expecting not to see much, and then I was like, this is a lot. Now I don't know if I want to see the other trailers. Like,
bro, I would not. You know,
I'm kind of locked in already. I don't want to get spoiled. Like, I feel like they're going to spoil shit now. Like, this is the whole plot. This is the whole story. You know,
it was already kind of a lot, so you don't want to do more.
This is the limit. Like, we don't need to be going any further than this. You know. All right, fuck it. I guess I'll just watch this one trailer.
One last quick shot that I really enjoyed for this trailer.
Yeah,
was Yelena is having this moment where she's like, I just feel unfulfilled. I that, and then in the middle of that, she blows up this like building.
Oh yeah, nonchalantly she does.
Yeah, and she like looks back and she's on the phone. The building blows up. Everyone's like, oh my god, kind of like. I don't want to say this, but it's kind of like 9/11.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like a building blows up, like people die. That's kind of fucked up.
There could have been bad guys in there.
Yeah, that's what's going on, right?
Yes.
You hope. Yeah. But she turns around and she's like, anyway, I'm on the phone. And I loved that shot. Like it felt very Jason Bourne, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I get the
funny
vibe
enough, that's what they were trying to do with Black Widow in like the apartment scene where they're like fighting. They're like, we got to make it Jason Bourne-y. If I had to complain about one tiny bit minuscule thing that's like no one's even going to notice, the beginning of the trailer, there's a part where it starts off kind of quiet and slow, sort of slow, and Yelena's knocking on the door, and then you cut to Red Guardian, and he's like gets up, he's like, and it has like the sound effects go up like it does this like very trailer-esque, Marvel-esque thing.
Okay.
And then when I watched, I was like, y'all didn't need to do that. You could have just played it straight for like the first few seconds. You know what I mean? Played it like you didn't have to. I didn't have to lock into being a trailer immediately. Like, you know, you didn't have to splash that on me right away. Like, just let me warm up.
Do you think maybe in the moment of the movie it'll feel a little more organic? You know?
Yeah. Okay. So there was a trailer for. I always think about this. There was a trailer for The Devil Wears Prada. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, 13 years ago. Yeah, take me back.
Okay. And what I loved about it, and not a lot of trailers do this, is they basically like just played a scene like at the very beginning. And it was just like a moment. And obviously you don't want to do that for every single trailer, but now we're getting into trailers where it's like that Suicide Squad thing, you know, everyone's cutting to the beat and the music latches, and it's fine. And I get it. It's entertaining, but when it's so repetitive, it's like, what can differentiate you from all the other trailers? And when she walks up so like quietly and, you know, whatever, it would have been nice just to play that scene moment a little bit like they did with Devil Wears Prada, that little fun interaction. You don't need to trailer it up so quickly, so up top. Like, we'll get to the trailer parts later.
Okay, so you're saying like she like knocks to the beat of the song or whatever.
She knocks, and then they cut to Red Guardian. He's doing all the like he's cleaning up, like shotgunning a beer or something. I don't really remember, and then you can hear the music like crescendo high and then snap out of it. Like, it's a very trailer-esque thing. That's my only nitpicky thing about it. But
no, I feel that that's a legit criticism. I feel like we should talk about that later. Like I mentioned previously, like I want to talk about trailers. Like I have like a top 10 trailer list in my head. And I feel like we could talk about like trailer moments that are a little like cliche. So I appreciate you saying that. Yeah.
Oh man, let's talk about trailer moments that are cliche. You know, horror movies lately, they have like that moment where it's like silent and all you hear is that piercing like high end tone. You know what I mean? Like everything's quiet. Oh my god! They
like
did that yes, and they did that for Speak No Evil, and that kid's like cutting his own tongue out. Do you remember that?
Oh man, bro! Talking about socials, I love the idea that last week you threw it to me about socials, because now I'm going to do it every moment.
Dude, yes, I love this.
Bro, like people, that was one of those trailers that was like, people couldn't wait for that trailer, the movie to come out, so that the trailer would stop showing before every single movie. And I didn't even realize how much, but I was like, you know what? I took my kid to go see Encanto, and like an Encanto re-release. Why am I watching this Speak No Evil trailer?
You gotta be fucking kidding. They did not play that.
Yeah. And I'm like, shh, be quiet. All right, eat your popcorn.
I'm not a doctor. You said you were a doctor. You know, I'm ripped. So, yeah, Thunderbolts comes out 2025, I think, after Brave New World does.
It has to, because we're going to see the asterisk is going to come into play. We're going to see like an updated title for sure.
Maybe after Brave New World, it'll be like Thunderbolts.
So. Yeah. And Captain America.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be like Captain America's like, oh, it's not good. And then Thunderbolts will be like, it's good. And then Fantastic Four will be like,
it's the make or break. The next 3 movies that come out will make or break. Like I've read, last thought is like people were like, Deadpool and Wolverine is not the indicator of Marvel. You know what I mean?
It's an island to itself.
Yeah. And it made a lot of money and it was very successful, but it's like, is Marvel gonna survive? We'll see.
It's tough. I think they're in the middle of switching strategies right now.
Yeah.
And so we're like in the middle of all that. Well, you know, that was a Marvel property, but for our feature discussion, like I said, we're going to talk about the Penguin, a DC property, and we have a special guest. So you ready to talk about the Penguin?
Yeah, let me go change real quick. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Okay. All right, here we go. Here is the Penguin. Welcome back, everybody. We are here to talk about the Penguin, and guess what, everybody? We have a huge Punch Drunk Nerd fan. Miguel knows him. Ed knows him. I'm meeting him for the first time. It is Erik Jue. Welcome, dude.
How's it going? Thank you so much for having me.
I was talking about this before the podcast with you. I've never seen you before. I've only talked to you through DMs, and even your profile picture had a filter on it, so I didn't know what you looked like until today. I was nervous and excited.
Yeah, I mean, probably more disappointed than anything, right? But
No.
It's, I don't know why. I found a little Instagram filter 10 years ago for my profile picture, and I've never changed it since. I don't know. That's just how I roll, you know?
If it ain't broke. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
When you got a nice profile picture, you don't want to change it. You're like, this is a solid one. And then 10 years later, you're like, oh, I've aged, you know?
I should update this.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we're bringing Erik into the podcast, and we've been trying to get you in the pod for a while, a long-time listener, and you worked on the show, right?
Yeah. I worked on the Penguin. I was the 24-frame operator for the Penguin. It's a part of the video department, and basically anytime there's a screen in the show, a TV or a laptop or a phone, I am in charge of what happens on those screens and the media that gets played on those screens. So,
wow. Now, here's a question I have for you. I know that a lot of people do screen replacements on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did that happen with the Penguin as well? Or did they organically do everything? Because I know sometimes when I see people holding phones, they're like, I can tell like, oh, that's a real phone screen or a real call. And sometimes it's like, oh, that's a fake ass screen. They just overlaid it. It looks so bright and saturated. Like that's not real life. Like in the Penguin, were there a mix match of that, or was it like all organic, or what was that situation?
So the point of my role specifically is to mitigate screen replacement as much as possible. And so gotcha. I try to make it so that the phone has the organic info on it, and that it all makes sense, and that it works the way it's supposed to work. So when you're doing a text message and you're doing 10 different takes of a text message, you can't have the same message popping up in the thread. And so I use a special I use a special program to make it be able to reset, and I can do it remotely from like my own phone or a little Bluetooth keyboard. And I'm like behind the camera, and I'm like doing all the texting, and Colin Farrell's just booping away at the phone.
That's so cool. You're like actually communicating.
Yeah.
That's dope as hell.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I was gonna say I've been on sets like, not obviously the Penguin, but like I'll have to like, okay, change my name to Patrick, and then I'm going to text you, and then I need you to delete that, and I'm going to keep doing that, back and forth. But like, I want to know more about. I know this is so funny because we're going to talk about the Penguin, but like this program, like, wait, so do you download an app? Do you upload it to this phone? Like, how does that? What is the app called? I need to know.
Yeah, so there's actually quite a few of them all around in the industry. There's Magic Phone, there's Twisted Media. The one that I use is as an app called Protopie, which actually UX designers use to to demo their new apps that they're like trying to make. And so it has a way to recreate all the different OSs and stuff like that. And so I use just basically a program that I can create triggers and have them, go from whenever they tap the phone or from like a Bluetooth trigger, and it can just make the phone screen happen the way as close as possible to the real thing. So
we're getting really nitty gritty here and into the weeds because I'm just curious and I love this stuff. Like when an actor swipes it or answers it, is that them doing it on their own, or are you enabling that for them?
So
I can answer a call.
Yeah, I can make a swipe be a trigger. So I can make I can make the little Apple swipe to unlock or swipe up, or actually it's funny because then you get really deep into like all the different iOSs. You know what I mean?
Hey, you guys, I'm gonna go take a break for a little bit.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
You guys seem locked into this. I'm fucking around.
iOS 18 yet? You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
Scheduled texts. Yeah.
Exactly. I knew Miguel was on iOS 18 as soon as on my phone it said you are having an RCS conversation now.
RCS,
because I'm on Android, and so it'll tell me whenever I'm having RCS. So it switched over as soon as Miguel downloaded.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought that was
funny. It's a fascinating thing because when I was talking to Eric about it a few weeks ago, I had no idea. It's like one of those like movie magic moments. Like you just don't really think about these things, and like to the layman who's just like watching it, you just assume, oh yeah, like they do it in post or whatever. But I mean, it's kind of incredible, like the amount of like on screen in the camera, organic, as you say, you know what I mean? Actions that are happening. I mean, like Eric, you were telling me you worked on a show called Goosebumps. Is that what you're saying with where you were like David Schwimmer wanted his lines on the screen, or something like that. And I don't mean to talk about things you don't want to, but like you were just like, oh, like you had to like put something there in a window for him.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, it's not there or whatever.
Yeah, no,
I didn't ever think about things like that.
That was a time where I pissed off David Schwimmer, and he's usually a very, very nice guy, but like on that day, I did a little bit of a rookie mistake, and then you could see the exasperation in his face, like while he was acting, and he just did this, like in the middle of the scene, and then they had to cut, and I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry, and I had to but no, he was actually super nice about it. I came up later and asked him, I was like, yo, I'm totally my bad, and then he was like, no man, it's totally fine, it's all good. So he was, he's not he's actually a really good guy. All of these.
He went and checked his bank account right after, and he was like, "Oh yeah, no, everything's fine." I forgot about that.
Okay, yeah,
I forgot. Exactly. No, it's chill.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that was Goosebumps was fun because I got to read all those books when I was a kid. So this was
the best Goosebumps was the one where that kid had a remote and they were able to mute people, and fast forward people, and then
is that an Adam Sandler movie?
No, this was in the old school. Not Click. No, that one made me tear up. No, this one was she had a remote and then she turned off the world, like fuck everybody. Obviously, she didn't say fuck, but then she turned off the world, and then when she wanted to turn it back on, the batteries were dead on the remote, so she was stuck in an empty void for all her life. But we're not here to talk about Goosebumps.
Sorry,
we're here to talk about the Penguin. Okay, we're gonna do initial reactions. Miguel, the Penguin.
Yeah.
What did you think about the Penguin?
And I watched it. Okay,
you don't have to go easy. Don't go easy because I.
Oh, Eric, baby, listen, I'll be ruthless if I have to be. But I've got like Ed makes fun of me. I've got like it's either like a 5-star or a 1-star rating. That's basically where I live. I live in the extreme end. I had a great time with this episode. And Luis, last week you were like, "Oh, I want to hear how Social is talking about it." A couple weeks before the show aired, I want to say it was IGN or someone else that was online. They were like really dogging the show. They were like, we watched the whole show and it's like a 5 out of 10 or whatever. So I came into it thinking, oh, this isn't going to be, let me just like lower my expectations.
Yeah.
But the week that it aired, it took me a few days to actually watch it. Twitter was all over this show, dude. Like they were like, oh, the Penguin's actually good. So I went into it watching it, and honestly, I walked away going, that was a really solid like pilot episode. I do have some like complaints of like, cause I don't love the whole like movie to TV show spinoff vibe. I do think there's like a look involved that felt cheaper. But then you look at Colin Farrell in the suit, and you're like, oh yeah, I don't even know that that's Colin Farrell. You know.
Yeah.
So I had mostly positive vibes from this entire episode, and I kind of liked the ending. I was like, here we are. I'm watching.
Right.
So we'll talk more about that in a minute. But yeah, I mean, so far, I don't know, 2 thumbs up.
All right, Eric, you worked on it. Now then you get to see it afterwards. What did you think about the Penguin?
I mean, it's hard
as a viewer.
Yeah, exactly, because it's hard watching as a crew member because you're like, oh, I was hiding behind that wall for that, or whatever. And so,
there's my shoe.
Yeah, exactly. No, but just as a straight consumer, I had I thought it was good. I thought it was a lot of fun. And my favorite part about this, in working on it and watching it, was I think just the script was really good. I think the writing was really good. I think how this show like bobs and weaves and does stuff that you think is unexpected. I think that's pretty good how they do that, even if it's not like the most surprising thing. I think the way it's executed is really good.
For sure.
I definitely had the same issue with Miguel as far as like you definitely saw the drop in budget as far as there was just one I don't. There's something I definitely can't say, but like there was one scene where there was the intro to Victor when we first met Victor and there was like the camera was cutting between Victor and Oz, and when there was Oz, the background was in focus, and then when it went to Victor, it was like a weird, crazy, like orbital Instagram filter background behind him, and it kept cutting back and forth, and I was like, whoa, what is happening? But but other than like those are small things, I think overall the show was really good. I think the cast did really good.
Yeah. Not to talk too deep because Luis, I know you want to give your thoughts, but same thing I felt when they would cut to like daylight outside shots. I felt like, oh, this feels like an ABC TV show type lighting. You know what I mean? So there were sometimes I was like, Colin Farrell looks so good in all this makeup, but then the lighting just looks like, I don't know, some bland TV show and some shot.
I mean, and then Eric, maybe you could speak to this more than like kind of my thinking or whatever, but TV moves in a faster pace than movies do. And so you have time to like really shape the light and to really cut off light. And I feel like when TV, you kind of have to run and gun a lot faster and light just leaks everywhere more. So you don't have those like sharp shadows. You don't have like things just like crisper. You have things that kind of like a little bit washed out. And not everything on this show was like that. Like I think some scenes were like, ooh, that's nice. But at other scenes, it looked like it stuck out a little bit. Yeah. I mean, for the Penguin, for me, I was also a little hesitant. I was like, oh, why are we doing the show? Okay. I gotta say that I think what I'll say, I came out of this was I really like Oz and Sophia. I think those are my favorite, and the mom too. I think those are, for me, that's the highlight of the show. When they're on screen, I'm here for it, and there are other times in between where I'm not locked in, but I think it has moments where it sings, and then sometimes like, oh, this feels a little bit like a TV. It feels a little bit like, oh, this is the pilot. We're setting things up. Here's this character. This is what's happening. And then the ending's like, okay, here we go. You know what I mean? It has all those like kind of familiar beats, like Eric was saying. But in between, there were these like little surprise moments, like between him and his mom, when he's kind of having that interaction, when he's going into his car and he plays that dolly, like the music or whatever. That I liked. I think, I watched it a second time and I liked it a lot more the second time, I will say. So after that, I was like, okay, now I'm kind of like, I know the groove and the vibe. I'm more locked in. And again, it just doubled down like, Colin Farrell is like incredible. That makeup prosthetic is like crazy good. And then Sophia is like, I love that actor. And I think she does a great job of being like uneasy, but also ready to snap,
Yeah.
I wish Ed was here because Ed really came into this show and we haven't heard his official thoughts on it yet. But one of the things he expressed to us previously was he didn't like the Sophia, the actress who played. Sorry, I'm blanking on her name, but
it's oh my god,
is it Christina Milioti?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
He was saying how he didn't quite love her casting for that role. But I just thought there was something about, especially her eyes. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like she had very quiet moments where she was staring through me
Yes.
as I was watching. And I really enjoyed what she was doing. And Luis, to your point about like, this does feel like a pilot episode. And do I think after however many episodes they do of it, it's going to stick the landing? I hope it does. But I really enjoyed the 2 or 3 pieces they set up in this episode. You can see the mob war starting, you know?
Right.
And I think between her, the Penguin, and Maroney in jail, it's like, oh, okay, these are the 3 key players, and
Mr.
let's see
Krabs.
how.
Oh,
Yeah, Mr.
I was so psyched when he was on set. Oh my god, I had not usually starstruck, but Mr. Krabs got me.
Hang on, Luis, listen,
What?
I have to say this. Okay, Luis and I and Eric, I shared this. This is like, we're getting off the rails here. But I shared, Luis, you and I were listening to that Glorb, that like SpongeBob rap. You know what I mean? You remember that? I shared that with Eric, and he was like, oh, I can't wait to show him this tomorrow when I go to work. Did you ever show him that video of like the SpongeBob rap? You know what I mean?
Miguel, I'm gonna be super honest with you. I of course did not show him that.
Oh, good boy, good boy. You know, you're a professional. You know what I mean? Top 10 up
this
here,
is the phone
top
you're gonna be
shelf.
using, but before I show you all the details, check out
Have
this
you
Glorb
seen
music video. Yeah. It's important. I'm calibrating the screen. Okay, you need to see it.
This is a test.
Right? We got his eye line. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, no, exactly.
No, shout out. No, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you being real with me, because sometimes you have to just be like, "No, Miguel, this isn't a joke." Okay? Like I get paid. Okay, I'm a union member.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, but no. Okay, so sorry. Like I said, we're getting off the rails here, but yeah, Luis, I don't know. Take it away.
I mean,
yeah, go for it, Eric.
No,
please.
I'm sorry. I was going to go off of something Luis said. Luis said about Sophia. I think Sophia is actually, she might be my favorite character on this show. I saw somewhere someone said that you have not seen an intensity in a Batman villain from her since fucking Heath Ledger, man. You know, like,
Whoa.
And I was like, when someone said that, I was like, holy crap, you cannot say that. Don't say that. But then I thought about it, and I was like, that's like, because all these Batman villains are like out of this world and so avant-garde and theatrical, and like she had this quiet intensity that I loved.
Her very first shot, Oz is sitting down with like the family, like, whoever's, and he's talking about this drug plan or whatever, and then she just kind of shows up in the background. Bro, I was locked in when that happened. I was like, oh shit, what's going to happen? And then her commenting on his dialogue in the next scene where she was like, you know, I walked in and you were talking about these drugs. Tell me more about that. You know, I was like,
she is scary.
Shit.
Like, that's what I like about these mob like shows and movies and stuff. It's like power plays. Who is like being the power dog? Who's the alpha like dog in front of everybody? And she was playing that to Oswald, and like that is a character that any actor could have easily like overdid it, do too much. Like, I'm playing a crazy person. I just got out of Arkham and I'm menacing. Yeah. But somehow she was able to really ground it and keep it locked in,
Her dialogue also about being like, I was stripped naked, and also just being like, I was a thing. And it's like she's come out of the Arkham experience being like, I am stronger than they made me feel, and I'm gonna do things. And also, there was like that half moment where right after the lunch scene where she leans in and she was like, I always knew you were stronger than everyone thought or whatever. And there was like a half second where you're like, oh, are they gonna team up? Like, are they about to like really see eye to eye on this shit? And she was like, my brother was about to be the boss, but I'm the boss, and you're going to be here too. And then of course later we see how they react to each other. But I mean, it was,
God, it hits that like, and then it hits the music sting right after she says that. It goes, bow, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, it felt like very like Stanley Kubrick in that moment when she like steps back and that music hits. God, what else was I going to say about that? Okay. Those are the two, like, I love those characters. Let me tell you about a thing that I didn't like. Can we talk about that real quick? Because we're raving about it. Dude, guys, I don't like this, having a younger kid storyline, where he's like, all right, kid, I'm going to help you on your way. Like, I understand this whole, the premise of the show and the theme is like people rising up, like Sophia's rising up, the Penguin's rising up, and he's going to rise this kid up. And he's like the audience and we're witnessing through it him. But it's a personal choice. Like, it's like, I don't like cilantro. I don't want this like little kid. That's my cilantro.
Wow,
I don't want him.
Can I ask?
What an analogy.
Is it the actor's choices or is it just the story choice?
So I thought about this for a while, and I don't think it's the actor's choice. Really, what it is, like maybe it is, maybe whatever. But really, what stood out for me is I just don't like this type of storytelling,
this beat or whatever.
This style. You know what I mean? And I think for other people it could work, and it makes sense. Like, yes, like you have somebody who's kind of like he gets to lead him up, and we're living through his eyes, and it's like. We get to see how that plays. It humanizes the Penguin a bit more. You know what I mean? We want to like this guy. So
I do want to talk about that. Yeah,
I get it, but it's like I don't like that. Like if I'm seeing a mob story, I want to see power plays. I want to see people overcoming things. I don't want to see someone help another person. To be honest,
it's episode 1 baby. Okay,
I know.
Pilot.
But this kid's gonna be out through the whole thing. And so
no, I know. No, and there's going to be a moment. There was a scene where when he was with the mom, he was like, "Oh, this kid's nice" or whatever, and he responded with like, "No, I'm not." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. I feel like I remember that line, but he was something like, "No, don't tell her I'm nice." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But oh God, what was I going to say? Luis, just to bring the social aspect back to it, I was on Twitter and people were saying, "I can't believe the Penguin got Robin before Batman did." You know what I mean?
Wow! I never saw that. That is so funny.
Like it's like he was like, "No, you're mine, kid." Yeah,
it happened so quickly too. He was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" You know what? Come with me. You know what I mean? I was just like, "Oh, okay, here we go."
I don't know. Yeah. As a viewer, I kind of liked how quick it happened because it was a very quick moment. Like out of all those kids, he was like, "You, all right? I caught you." And he knew in that moment, I feel like I'm going to kill you eventually, but but before that, you're going to be useful. You're going to help me out. We're going to get rid of this body together and then I'll kill you. And then right at the end, right before he did it, he was like, no. I have ambition. I can do you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I think it was the stutter, right? It was the stutter that really triggered Oz.
Oh, that's
because Oz is also like
he's
suffering.
Got his cripple.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, it humanizes him. It makes him a nice guy. I just like for me, I didn't want it.
That's what I wanted to. That's what I wanted to talk about. Here is where I'm talking about like movie to spin-off. Like this is my whatever. I don't really love that we're like, oh, now I love the Penguin. Oh, now he's got a mom and I'm supposed to like him.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes I just want like the bad people just to be bad. But at the same time, like if the only time I ever saw this character was in the show, then I would appreciate that. Yeah, of course I like him and I want to see his like inner dynamics. Like when he hopped in the car and he drove to his mom's house, I was sitting there thinking like, what's Batman doing right now? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, yeah, I know it's daylight, but like Bruce Wayne's over there doing something. And like, that was like a pretty big deal that Batman was running around nighttime Gotham City and he's over here like, hey, Ma, like, I was like, I don't want to like you. I want you to be the bad guy.
This is like when they show us like Cruella or like what was the other one? They like Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett, like all these people. Like,
right.
We liked him because they're like bad. You know what I mean?
Because they're bad. Yes.
Yeah.
But okay.
But we did do Joker, right? So Joker kind of, so
was that bad? Yeah.
I mean, but they dove into his background and stuff.
Eric, is there anything that you, I know you had a list of likes and dislikes. Is there anything that you kind of stuck out to you?
Literally just the small things that like any kind of crew member would see. And at this point, I'm being nitpicky. I'm not calling out any of my crew members at all. I don't want to you know what I mean? Everyone worked very hard on this show. It was a hard show to work on, and we all did very good. There was small things like sounds that were a little bit too late. There was one like when they went into Oz's when they were in Oz's apartment, and then he like took a drink and from the sink and put the cup down. The clink came like 2 seconds later.
It's like a half second late.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
It's like those small little details that I catch, and I'm like, do you guys even remember that there was a car chase in this episode? And Yeah,
okay.
I thought
Dude,
yeah.
first off, the fact that you even bring that up, that was another moment where I harkened back to the Batman, where they talked about his car a lot, and I was like, and then they showed his foot at one point too, after he like took his shoe off.
Oh yeah,
and I was
the
like,
foot.
damn, do you guys remember like one of the big features of the Batman was like that big car chase, you know?
Yeah.
He like explodes. He's like, haha, I got away. And then he's like, the Batman like flies through. And then here he's like, and then they were talking about his car at one point, and I was like, oh yeah, that probably is a different car because the other one just like rolled 32 times.
Yeah. No.
But then I was like, the foot thing also was like, was that from that car chase in the movie, or was he always crippled like that?
So the foot thing is like, yeah, that's like like what makes him the Penguin. That's what makes him hobbled. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I know.
Also,
now
a question to everybody, and I haven't seen the Batman that many, but did he waddle that hard in the Penguin? I mean, in the Batman? Because when the show started, I was like, he's really waddling. And
that's why I'm asking. Is like, did the car flipping over, was that accident what gave him that, or was he always doing it? Yes.
I think story-wise, that he always had that fucked up foot.
Yeah.
See, I only remember the one shot where he was like tied up after they Elada or whatever, and then he wobbles after that in the movie, and that was the only time I remember him wobbling, up until like maybe right before Carmine gets shot.
I mean, I think he has always had the waddle. Yeah.
Damn.
I just when I saw it, I was like, I don't remember him waddling that hard in the Batman, but I was like, all right, here we go. You know, like that was like my one thing.
He like came out with the umbrella first scene and everything.
Yeah.
Actually, I did want to say,
we gotta make this bitch rain so that he can use the umbrella.
Yeah, exactly.
Y'all know the Penguin, right?
Yeah. The very first scene, this whole show opens on him like up against like a bright window, like a sunset, or like a sunrise, actually, because it's right after the Batman movie, and so the sun is rising and he's got this giant orange window that he's like silhouetted up against. And I remember that scene in particular because that was actually the very first scene that we shot when we came back from the strikes. It was crazy. It was we started shooting this pre-strikes, and then the strikes happened, and we had to cut it off, and we were one of the only shows that like maintained our stages throughout the strikes and didn't let go of all of our equipment. And so when the strikes were finished, we were one of the first shows to start back up. And we came back, and that window is actually an 85-inch like LED TV that I set up for for him. And so
see, that's why we have you on, dude. Let's go.
Yeah. So I remember shooting that scene, and then like we finished it. It was the first scene after we were back, and then Colin Farrell's like, we did all that for this. What the fuck? And he like goes all Irish, and it was like actually really hilarious. It was
he go
so
Irish
funny
when he's wearing the penguin suit, or is he go Irish? Okay.
Offset, like in between takes, he's still Irish. Yeah, he doesn't do method acting. Yeah,
he's still Irish. That's still Irish. Believe it or not, the core personality he is.
Yeah,
that's great.
You talk about like that opening scene, which looked really cool. And I just wish it stuck on that a lot longer, because then it kept cutting away to these news anchor stuff. And that was like, oh, this is a TV moment, because it just looked not like what TV news looked like. And then they were capturing like the son walking around. They were following him. And it was like, oh, you're just using a regular camera. Like, you're not using like a broadcast camera. And then also like there's a shot where there's a woman like talking to a bunch of people, and I felt like this, I don't know if it was green screen or something, but it did not look good. Like every time we cut to the news segment, I was like, this is rough. And it was just so heavy on the exposition, and I get it, because it's like people need to know if they didn't watch the Batman. But it's just like, it feels like homework, like, oh shit, I gotta pay attention. There's so much information thrown at me. I like shows when it's like a little mysterious, you know, we just open on the window, we creep in, we have some music, and then we kind of like get information doled out little by little. I know they have a small real estate time. It's like you only have an hour to do all this stuff. So that's tough, obviously. But it doesn't take away from the fact that it felt very exposition-y at the top, and then the news just didn't look like news. But that's me nitpicking again on my side, you know.
Some of the best shows I think in recent years have like, you know, had those long silent tracking shots that are just so nice and intense. You know, I'm thinking of like Game of Thrones. I'm thinking of like, you know, shows like that, and they're not afraid of dead air. And I think that it takes a lot of confidence and really prep. It's all in the prep, and so that's something that is hard to attain sometimes. You know, it takes a lot to get that together.
I don't know if you were part of those shoots or whatever, but like it did. And I could be completely wrong, and they could have planned it from the top, but it could have been. And I know HBO doesn't give notes a lot, but I feel like after a V1 of the cut, they're like, "Oh, we need to contextualize this a bit. Let's go and do some pickups and get like these news anchors talking about it." It felt like pickup shots, you know. And I don't know if that was the case, or it felt like they were actually like, "No, we shot this up top. This is what we wanted." I don't know if you have any perspective on that, or if you know anything about that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do. I'm like, you know, that's exactly the kind of stuff that I have to deal with every day when it comes to, hey, Eric, you remember that scene that we shot the other day? We're going to do it again, and it's going to be different. I hope you have it. I hope you're ready for it. And I'm like, okay, hopefully I'm ready for it. And so, you know, it's like one of those things. So in this show, that's how it is on a lot of shows, and this show was similar. And so I can say that we were going back and we were shooting episode 1 scenes throughout the whole series. I mean, we were going back and yeah, I mean, so it was definitely not a done, everything is done. No, I mean, and that's not a fault. Most shows are like that. Most shows have reshoots. Most shows go back and rethink things.
You guys were talking, you were saying, oh, the strike happened. And now I'm over here realizing that the Batman was shot during COVID as well. And so there was a lot of like stoppage there. And I wonder how like that affects this overall product. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the Batman 2, the Penguin season 2, whatever beyond this, like, are we going to get like this whole, like, no, we have this, it's ready to go product.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah. Hey, Eric, let me ask you this. I saw a TikTok, okay, where Colin Farrell was talking about how, oh yeah, I was in the makeup and I was so hot and they had to like chill everything down. Luis knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
Can you talk about that? Was that something that actually happened, or was that just like a story for the media?
Yeah, I mean, those prosthetics, those are, I mean, I'm not an expert on prosthetics, but you know, that silicone, that stuff is not breathable. Thick. And so, and he was covered in it. And so, yeah, we had literally every single day that Colin was on set, we had freezing temperatures on set. We had, and then even within the freezing temperatures, we had it's actually in real life, it's an ice fishing tent called an igloo, and the brand is called Igloo. We call it an igloo because we're on the Penguin and it's keeping them cold. But like the brand is called Igloo, and it's an ice fishing tent. And so he would be we had this ice fishing tent everywhere we went, all around fucking New York City, and we would have like giant like warehouse sized AC units with these giant tubes just blasting air into there. And it got so bad. I remember one time we were shooting outside in New York when it was hot, and then came back inside to the stage where it was freezing. And then I ended up getting like a real bad strep throat, and I had to miss like a whole week because I got sick. It was so intense, you know? And
when people saw the call sheet that Colin was coming in the next day, where people were like, well, bring your jackets. Was that?
No, exactly. That's exactly. It would even say it on the call sheet. It would say freezing temperatures expected, you know? And so.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it would say dress accordingly.
Dang,
you know?
Dude.
So yeah.
So I mean, if Colin Farrell, if he wins the Emmy for this show, you think he'll thank you specifically? Hey, and thank you, Eric, for getting strep throat.
No, he probably remembers me as like the weird tech guy who would just floated in and out of set. You know what I mean? I didn't really get a lot of chance to. This show was very fast, and on some shows I do make friends with the actors, and on this show I wasn't able to because it was just very quick, and you know, he was. Yeah, very busy. So, but I mean, other than I do still work with them every day, and so all of them were like really great. I remember what was really crazy was, besides the igloo stuff, the sets were amazing. I mean, really there was some good budget in the production, and like really some of the best sets that I've been on. The Falcone Mansion was amazing. Yeah, I remember that.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I remember the Falcone Mansion, and I was setting up a projector inside one of the rooms one day, and I was turning around inside of this swivel chair, and it's a little bit tight in that area, and I knocked over this like antique like floor lamp, just shattered into a million pieces, like brass porcelain floor lamp. And when that happens, you just gotta hang your head low and just go tell the set dressers, and just say sorry.
What? Wait. So was that the lamp? Was it part of the set, or was it part of the house?
No, it was a set. So we were on a sound. We were in Silver Cup North in the Bronx, and that's also partly why it felt like Gotham, because the stage was in like a very warehouse, scummy district of the Bronx. Wow. And so every day I had to like either ride my bike or take the bus into that area, and it was pretty crazy. So no, but it was part of the set. It was part of the set. Yeah. Okay. So they had
they did a good job of making that inside feel part of that exterior shot, because when they walk out, it's like, this feels like that room is totally in that house. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they did. So there was a real Falcone Mansion upstate in New York, and then there was a set Falcone Mansion, and so you're probably feeling the real one. But no, it was really good.
Anything else that you guys notated in the episode that you wanted to call out?
Just in general, I really liked how they set up this like warring factions of the Falcone versus the why am I blanking on his name?
Maroney.
Eugene. I just liked how at the end of the day, Penguin was like, he had a really great line early in the episode where he's explaining to, sorry, Luis, I know you don't like him, but Victor, when he was explaining to him, like, this is no big deal. They called me up there, and 9 times out of 10, it's all just like a show and dance. And I'm going to go up there, and they want to feel big. And he said, I'm going to make myself small. Yeah. And I thought that was such a great line. Like, the Penguin knows how to play these people, but he also, the big theme was ambition this episode, right? Yeah. Like, I want to be bigger, and I know how to play the game to get to those points. And we've seen it in the Batman, and we saw it in the beginning of this episode, and we saw it throughout this episode. These are the steps I'm going to take. I mean, even we didn't talk about this, but at the beginning of the episode, Falcone's son takes over, and he tells him, like, oh, I remember this time on the east side of Gotham. They threw a parade for this guy, and then he turns around and he was like, I'm sorry, is that what you want from me, or is that what you want from you? Because like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was like locked in from the moment he kind of like smirked off and bam, 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 and shoots him to death.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, dude, okay, I get what he's doing. He's not afraid to make those big moves, but also knows how to play within the parameter of the game. So just in general, like, by the time the episode was ended and like the car crashes through and he gives Sophia that very emotional moment of seeing her dead brother, and he gives that little he's like strapped to the chair naked, right? They just had a gun in his face.
Yeah.
And then he's over there eating the slushy, like, yeah, that's what we planned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, okay, Oz, like, let me see what you're doing. I want the 8 or 10 episodes, whatever this is, like, I want this arc to happen, and I want him to feel like, ooh, like, you are the bad guy to watch for this universe. But so for as far as the pilot goes, I enjoyed all the moments, and I'm looking forward to episode 2.
Also, I mean, Luis, I know you're not into Vic, but any person with a kid, Victor is royalty. I don't know if you know. I don't know if you guys looked this up. He is the shape-shifting cousin from Encanto, that actor. Renzi.
No way!
Yes.
Wait, really?
Oh, yes. Man. And my kid loves that character.
Okay.
And Kobe was literally, my son's name is Kobe. He was literally in the middle of like an Encanto phase when we were shooting this, and I kept on telling Renzi every day. I was like, "Guess what? How many times I listened to Encanto yesterday? Guess how many?" He's like, "I'm sorry, man," and I'm like, "Yeah."
Good for him though.
Crazy.
He's stepping up. You know, he did the one, and now he's in the Penguin, and he's such a featured character. So good for him.
Yeah, no, he's doing really good. Yeah.
His name is Victor, and I was thinking.
Did you see the tweets?
Well, I didn't see the tweets, but I was noticing his name is Victor, and Victor is the name of the cyborg character. And so
Who
they call
else?
him Vic as well. And so I didn't know if like there's no way they're going to go that route. But they did say the name Victor, and I was like, okay, well, why would you pick Victor if you didn't think of like the cyborg character? But they're not going to go this route,
You know who else is named Victor? Victor Freeze, Luis. So obviously, this guy must be.
Is that really his name, Victor Freeze?
Yeah.
This guy must be Mr. Freeze, right?
You know who else?
I can't wait to show you the tweets.
Victor Von Doom. No, I'm just kidding.
Victor Von
Doom.
That would be insane.
he takes the mask off. It's Robert Downey Jr.
That'd be crazy.
His name is Victor Fries. That's right. Okay.
He's a McDonald's worker. His name is Victor Fry. Yeah.
Oh, that's why he's like those slush puppies. You know what I mean? Okay, that's what they're saying about Mr. Freeze. I thought about Cyborg because he's like a young kid, and I don't know if he plays football and stuff. Blah, blah, blah. I guess that could work too.
Oh, you're talking about like Teen Titans Cyborg. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
Teen Titans Cyborg, because it's like I thought it kind of fits too. But yeah, Victor Freeze, I guess that makes sense as well. And then Hangman, I noticed that actor, she kept having, and you might know more than I do, obviously, but the way that they dressed her, she kept having like these scarves or high like turtlenecks. So you never got to see her actual neck. So I'm wondering if we're ever going to see her without a scarf or a turtleneck, and it's going to just have like a noose scar on it.
Who? I'm sorry, who is this?
Sophia.
And
she's also called,
they call her the Hangman.
They call her the Hangman.
Got it,
every time you see her,
okay.
she's got like something covering the middle of her neck. And so I was like, oh, I feel like there's going to be some
See, that makes
reveal.
sense too, because her whole thing is like she was sent to Arkham, but her whole vibe is like, am I crazy? She says that so many times. Do you think I'm crazy?
And that does kind of like at that. She's so good at like. You know what I was just thinking actually when we were talking about this earlier. I was like, because in the last episode, for all you punch drunkers out there, I don't know if you watched the last episode. I did.
I love that.
Luis was saying how he messes with Ed and Miguel by like sending him like inquisitive texts and sees if they like answer like are they gonna get it. I feel like if Luis was a Batman villain, he'd be like Sophia, because they danced that line like, oh, are they gonna do you think I'm crazy? Am I crazy? Am I like, I don't know. I don't know.
We'll talk about it later.
Wait.
Exactly.
While we're here, Eric, as a fan of the show, give me and Ed, who are our Batman villains? Like, you had to guess.
Batman villains or this Penguin people or Penguin cast.
Ooh,
like, what do you?
I'll dealer's choice. I'll let you pick one.
Well, we haven't seen all the Penguin cast yet, so I'm gonna go with Batman villains. But
oh, I like it. Good boy.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Oh my gosh, that is such a good one. This is I don't mean to diss Ed like this, okay? I really don't. I really don't mean to diss Ed like this. I mean, he is such a well-read person, Yeah. And a lot of Batman villains are smart, but I think a lot of people don't know that Scarecrow is actually like super smart. And I think Ed is like a scarecrow, like a psychological. Not sure he would be. I don't know. I could be wrong. He could get physical. I think so. But I think I would say Scarecrow for Ed, and then for Miguel. Man, I don't know. Jeez.
This will somehow be a worst answer. This is good. I love it.
Oh, I don't like personality wise.
Yeah.
I don't know if they fit in. I don't know. It's coming to my head immediately, maybe probably because we're literally talking about it. I was going to say Freeze or Penguin, but is that just I don't know. I feel like because we're literally talking about.
I'll take it.
You know what I mean?
I'll take Penguin, especially if it's Colin Farrell's version of it. I love it.
I mean, maybe like
God.
a Solomon Grundy, but that's insulting too. Like,
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
Big and Dumb and Dead, also good. Yeah, that's good. Dumb and Dead. You guys know me. Ooh-wee.
I don't know. I mean,
No, I love
sorry,
it.
that's just literally off the top of my head. That's an unscripted. You know, we are just
Honestly,
flying by the seat of our pants here.
Yeah.
You know.
I'll take it. You come back. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
good.
Yeah.
I like that you said also we haven't met all the Penguin cast yet. And I'm like, okay, let's get you on for the finale and ask this question again. That's good.
Yeah. You know, I think it's gonna be good. Like I said, I think this has one of the better scripts that I've read in a while. So I'm excited to see how the show goes. I'm excited to see what the fans think of it. You know, I think it'd be cool to see what the fans think about Vic. To see if they agree with Luis or not. I don't know. You know, I don't know.
Hey,
We'll
do you
see.
have? Listen, you shot the show, and Luis, I guess we can cut this if it's not appropriate. Okay, but hey, Eric, real quick. Okay,
It always
let me
stays
mark
in.
it real
It
quick.
always stays in.
Let me
it
mark
always
it
does.
just in case. Okay. Hey, you know, as someone who knows how the show ends, they've been talking about Matt Reeves says, "Oh, this is going to lead right into the Batman 2." Did you feel that at the end of this shoot? Did you feel like, oh, I see where they're going for the movie, or no?
I mean, yeah, you definitely can. I mean, it is a good. I actually didn't know that Matt Reeves had said that, but it does. I'll just say it does make sense that he says that. Yeah.
Going into it, yeah.
Yeah.
What was
for
it
sure.
like working with Robert Pattinson? I almost got you. I almost got you, dude. That was good. You thought I wasn't gonna ask. But that was
That's
good.
a Jimmy Fallon moment right there. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I know.
Yeah. with
That's
Andrew
the second
Garfield.
time I've asked him about that too. I was like, I
Yeah.
thought I could get him. All right.
It's been reported, right?
Yeah, he's
I
not
heard-
in it, right?
I heard that. Well, who said it? I heard it on the internet. They're like, he's not in it, but then it's like we've
Yeah.
been lied to many times. You know.
I mean,
So-
listen, I've watched a lot of superhero movies where they go no, and then yeah, you
That's
know.
true.
So,
Yeah.
That's true.
I'll
that's
wait.
True.
I'll wait till the end of the show. We'll talk to you in the finale. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know how many
Dude.
episodes are left. Let's see. The Penguin. How many? Do you know?
No, there's 8.
Episodes.
There's 8 episodes.
It's 8,
perfect.
right?
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, 8 episodes. I think it's gonna be a pretty good ride. I think it's every Sunday? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Sundays.
Oh, why no? Hang on a second, because they came out with this episode and it was like on a Thursday, and
It
I was
was
like,
random,
wait,
right?
what?
Yeah.
That's not HBO to me. HBO is Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Let's see.
Sunday.
Well, are you? Oh, no, 29th. Yeah, September 29th is going to be the next episode.
All right.
Wait, you're right. Why
We're
did you
ready.
show up on the 19th? That's kind of weird. What happened on the
No, that was-
22nd?
I don't know.
Or whatever.
Eric,
Yeah.
Eric.
Thank
thank you
you.
so much, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you guys so much for having me. You know, as you know, I've been a huge fan of the show for a long time. Miguel and Ed have been friends since high school, and Luis, we've been friends since an hour ago. So, you
Just
know,
now.
We're gonna
Yeah.
keep going now. Fresh hot friendship right here. We go.
Hell yeah.
We'll,
Hell yeah.
we'll celebrate our
Nah,
1 year anniversary next
nah.
year.
Yeah.
The listeners heard it. You know what I mean? You guys were like, I was like, let me step away for a second, okay? Let you guys talk, okay? Y'all were in it.
Yeah, we did.
All right. Well, thanks, Eric. We'll see you next time we talk about the Batman.
All right. Thank you. See you guys.
Bye. All right, and we're back. We're gonna finish this whole episode like we always do. Talk about
Had to
what
cool-
we're into. Miguel, you're out of that sweater.
Yeah, had to cool off.
Had to cool off. The topic was too hot. We're gonna keep this short. I think each of us just have. Well, I actually have one that I didn't add to the list here.
Throw it on because I don't have to go long on mine.
Okay. Here, I'll keep it
Yeah,
ambiguous.
why don't you just keep typing it? I love that.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll start.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I've been okay. So Fortnite. So Fortnite happened, and I've been playing that obviously, but I've kind of hit all the levels I need to, except for the Gwen pool. I think I need to keep.
No, I know, dude. Because like 3 weeks ago, you were like, "I'm leveled up," and I'm like, "Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like I paid for this shit, and I'm still not where
I'm
you
already
at."
at level like 203 or 207 or something.
No.
But it was again. That's what I'm saying. I don't play this because it becomes a problem. I wake up and I'm like, I'm at work with my Switch. It's problematic. So
Good for you.
there's been a lot of updates. We could talk about Fortnite later and just like all the changes and additions that have been there. So I needed a little break, and I was looking for a game to play, and I bought this game, Hi-Fi Rush. Have you heard of this game?
No, tell me.
So Hi-Fi Rush came out in 2023 to high, people loved it, and it's a rhythm-based action game.
Oh.
So you fight, but you have to fight to the beat.
You know who would hate this game?
Ed.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah. And it's done in a very what reminds me of is Edgar Wright's Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
Because when I watch this, it's telling a story, and I like how it blends the story with the gameplay. Sometimes games have too much story, and I'm like, I need to start playing. Like, I cannot wait. Like, I just turned this on. I can only be here for 20 more minutes. I think it does a good job of blending story with gameplay. And when I watched it, I was like, wow, this feels like if Edgar Wright could direct this, he could do this just like Scott Pilgrim. It's kind of got that kind of vibe going. It's very fun. But yeah, when you fight villains, you fight these robots, you have to do it on the beat. And if you do it on the beat, you get extra points. You can administer more damage that way. And there's all these like crazy little combos. And, sometimes these robots will fight at you and they'll alert you on the beat that they're going to hit you with. They'll be like, pop, 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 pop. And so then you have to parry back like pop, 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 pop. I'm having a lot of fun with it, but I've also learned that I'm terrible keeping a beat. Because
really?
Yeah, it keeps giving you scores. You're like, you got a D, and I'm like, well, fuck you. Then,
well, I didn't
I
think I was that bad.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I was that bad about it. I thought I was having a good time until you graded me, and then it grades you on the whole level. Yeah, seriously.
Hey, I got a big question. Okay,
what's up?
This is my number one question because we talked about this previously. Okay, you said you bought this game. How much did you? And this is, you can tell me. You can cut it if you want.
Yeah.
How much did you spend, and what's the gigabytes? Like, how much did you have to download?
Yeah, this is a good question. I don't remember how much I think the reason I got this was because it was on sale. It was a PlayStation sale.
Okay.
So I think it must have been. It couldn't have been any higher than $39.99. If anything, I would say $24.99. What?
I was about to ask you, is it more or less than $10? And you were like $39.99. I was like, oh, okay. Cool.
The game size. I don't even know what the game size. Hi-Fi Rush game size. I mean, on Steam it says.
How many?
On Steam it says 20 gigabytes.
Okay.
But it has a very
sure.
The animation of it isn't photorealistic. It's made to feel very comic booky. So it doesn't have that much information as like an Assassin's Creed or a Last of Us, where they're like. You can see the pores of their skin,
Listen, I'm not here to knock it. I do think that you and I are different when it comes to like price points on games, but I think that's what's the beauty of it all. Like, you're willing to, for the right game, pay for that game. And I don't hate that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on Steam it's $30, but I think I got it for cheaper on it was a PlayStation sale.
If you get a sale, listen, baby, go for it. Especially if it's a game you're looking for.
I think I got like Alien Isolation for like $2 or something. I mean, I don't know if that's an exaggeration, but
no, that's not an exaggeration, and that is a balance. Okay, so like sometimes you get a game for really cheap, and then sometimes you get a game for like a moderately cheap price.
Yeah,
and that's how you can balance that checkbook. Okay,
it's definitely a balance of like, okay, I heard high things about it, and it's not $10; it's a little bit higher. So yeah, I think I can meet in the middle and pay for it. So I think it's a short game. I honestly, I'm afraid to look at the how long the game is because I don't want to have.
No, ignore me. Don't worry, it's fine.
But yeah, I'm having a good time with it, even though it grades me and tells me I'm not good. I feel like I keep getting like 65%.
That's the thing that I want to fight someone on. Like, who are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't tell me I get a D. Okay.
Yeah. I already went through high school. I don't need this kind of trauma.
No, bro. You know what it is? It's on the beat. It's fucking Whiplash. It's J.K. Simmons from Whiplash. He's like, "Are you on the beat? Okay,
yeah,
or are you not?" And you're like, "Oh fuck,
yeah,
I'm
like,
sorry,
are you
J.K.
Early, are you late?" You know,
I was. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can barely get the combos down, dude. And then as I'm trying to hit these things, they're attacking me. So not only are they attacking me, I'm trying to hit a combo, and I gotta do it on the beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but it's a very fun game.
I'm gonna watch a trailer like immediately after this. Like I'm curious, so I'll watch.
Yeah. Miguel, what have you been into?
Bro, I got one little thing, okay? Because it's the new season. All right,
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm kind of glad Ed's not here because you watch this show.
I do. Wait, does Ed not watch this? Oh, Ed binges this show, right?
No, I don't think he watches the show. I don't think he's ever seen the show.
I think he does see this show.
Okay, listen, I tell you what, let's find out.
I'm so
No,
sorry.
let's find out. Like we will investigate this and bring it up later.
It doesn't
but
matter. You're watching this show, and that's what matters. Okay.
You know what I'm
Miguel
watching,
Sanchez,
Luis?
What are you
Yeah.
watching?
I'm on Amazon Prime, baby. Okay. You know what I'm watching? Wait, no, sorry, it's not Amazon Prime.
No, it's not.
It's not.
I was like, what?
I watched a blooper the other day. I'm sorry to go on a tangent where they were filming a scene of How I Met Your Mother, and
Okay.
Jason Sudeikis. No, not Sudeikis.
I saw
Jason
this.
Segel. Jason Segel was like, he fucked up a line, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, ABC." And then his co-star was like, "You mean CBS? Like we're not even on." That's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
No, I'm watching. What's fucking me up is I'm watching all of these shows on Disney. Like Disney has become like this conglomerate more so than it already is. And I'm watching Hulu shows on Disney. Yeah.
It's perfect. You're the ideal customer for them right now.
Bro, and they have the fucking audacity to send me an email and go, "Bitch, you're missing out on a deal." And I'm like, yeah, I've got like 3 services in one. I'm not paying for any more deals. But you know what I'm watching?
What?
The new season, Only Murders in the Building. Okay.
Yeah.
I only started watching this like last year. It's one of those like, you know, that meme where the husband doesn't watch TV shows until the wife like starts watching it.
And then he starts looking at it as she's watching it. It's like, hey, who's that? What's going on? Yeah.
You start asking questions and you're like, wait, what's going on? Do you want me to start over at the beginning? No. Yeah. I've definitely started watching Only Murders in the Building because my wife was watching it. And you know what? It's a fucking great show. Okay.
Yeah.
Seasons 1 through 4, I'm having a great time, and it feels like the big question mark when people don't want to watch this show, because the premise is how many a person dies in the building, and the big question mark is how many people have to die in this building.
Yeah.
But you know what? I honestly feel they do a very organic like story of the next person dies.
Yeah.
And it fits within the realm of this building. Only Murders in the Building. By the time this episode comes out, I think the 4th or 5th episodes come out. I've not watched the newest one yet, but I love this show. Okay. It is insane to me how Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Selena Gomez, for some reason, are the perfect trio. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they're doing this really fun thing where they live in the Arconia. It's an apartment complex in New York. And this season, it's very much an east building versus west building. It's like 2 towers of the Arconia.
Yeah, it's the homeowner. It's the owners versus the renters.
Owners versus the renters.
I love that.
And the person that dies at the very beginning of the season, this is a little bit of a spoiler if you're watching the show and you haven't seen the season, but Steve Martin, his character was a detective on a TV show in the 80s. And he had a stunt double. And the very beginning of the season, his stunt double gets killed. And it's played by Jane Lynch. But she shows up in a lot of flashbacks and dreams. And it's solving her murder. You know what I mean? Who did it? Man, I just got to say, if you are on the, you're like, I don't really want to watch this show. No, baby. Watch the show. Okay. It's so fun. It's theatrical to a degree, but it really just knows how to play within the realm of its world. So I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about it.
Yeah, no, it feels like just classic comedy, you know, where how we used to do things where it's like, we're not pushing too much. I mean, Martin Short, he's a big character. He plays a theater director in this thing. So it kind of fits him, but it's also like, I don't know. It's not too crass. It's also not too self-referential. It's not too meta. I mean, it is meta, but it's not like swimming in all those things. It's just like funny performances and
you're you're highlighting something I hadn't even thought of. Anybody could watch this show. Okay. Yeah. So like if you were a single person, if you're a couple, if you're a family with children, like you could get away with any one of those levels watching this show.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's inviting. They do silly things. Yes, there's like a murder element, but it's very like theatrical and cartoony at some points, and it's
an
never
easy watch. You know,
an
when you have a
easy
long
watch.
day, you don't
Come
want
on.
to see people getting murdered on the TV. You're like, this is
Yeah.
only murders in the building. Some people do get murdered. But what I'm trying to
Yes.
say is like, it's very light. It's very consumable. It's not, but it's also good performances. So it's not like, you know, because sometimes you want to like not pay attention. So you watch garbage TV, but like this is like relaxing, but also entertaining and good performances, you know?
And baby, I like, I think it was season 3 she was watching, and I was like, what is this show? Finally.
Mhm.
And we started it over like a year ago, and I watched 1, 2, and 3 before season 4 came out. And
Yeah.
season 4 came out, and I was like, well, hey, put it on. All right. Like, I'm trying to watch. Like, this is a fun show to watch. So if you're kind of like, I don't know, no, babies, watch it. Okay.
Check it out. Only Murders in the Building on Hulu every
fuck it
Tuesday. Whatever, you got to binge it anyway.
Who gives a shit?
That's on Hulu. I watched something on Netflix, and I haven't been watching a lot of Netflix stuff sometimes because it's like, here's a Netflix movie, and I'm like, oh, well, it can't be good unless they like, I don't know. Sometimes it's good.
I know.
So, well, this one I think they made. I think they just bought it, and that's how sometimes their good movies are at. This was a movie. Have you heard of this movie? It's called His Three Daughters.
No.
It stars Elizabeth Olsen, Natasha Lyonne, and Carrie Coon.
I just this week I saw this because listen, anytime someone mentions Elizabeth Olsen, I'm like, let me lock in.
Let me lock in. Yeah.
Because now listen, she does movies and TV shows. You know what I mean? Like I want to lock in. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, because you also watched that other the Max show that she did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, where the whole mistress killer vibe.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it was very good. Very good. Yeah.
So according to Google, the 3 distant sisters reunite in New York City to care for their sick father. Tensions rise as they confront past issues, aiming to heal family bonds amid laughter and tears. I didn't know what to expect when watching this movie, but this is like, if you like family drama, if you like just like living in that moment,
okay,
this is kind of the one to watch. I think when I first started watching, I was like, okay, here we go. The performances are going, everyone's having fun, but you start to see like, oh, there's a reason why they're acting this way, and what kind of like face they're bringing into the movie. It's like, oh, this is a facade, and then as the facade begins to weigh down, you start to see who these people really are, and then they start to come together, and they're bonding over their father potentially dying or in the process of dying. And so you get to see their true colors, and you get to see how they cope with that death. You know, some people are, you know, they don't want to be there, and some people are overprotective, and some people are this and that. And so you get to see these highlights. It's very much, like I said, very family drama. If you're into seeing that kind of chemistry between people, between these actors, I think you should definitely check it out. It definitely took me by surprise by the end of it. I was like crying, and then I had to go on a drive and just think about life and death. And, you know, it was one of those things where it's like, where it's just like, I had to like, if you need a good cry at the end, like, you know, check it out. I don't think it's long either. I think it's like it's an hour and 40 minutes.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right.
And they do a good job of this, like, whole, like, you feel absence in this movie, if that means anything. And they take advantage of that because it feels like they're talking about all this other stuff that's outside of them that's very absent. Even the father feels very absent in this thing. And I think they purposefully use that as a character in itself, like this, the absence of everything. And it's just them kind of balancing it. And they're not all like one of the characters. 2 of them are related. The father had a wife, and then they had these kids. The father had another wife, and that wife had her own kid. So he kind of adopted her, and they're, you know, stepdad and stepdaughter. So then you have this dynamic of a stepdaughter with these 2 like actual kids from the father. And so there's this whole dynamic of like, well, he's my father. No, he's not your father. But the stepdaughter was actually taking care of the dad, and they weren't. So it's a nice little piece. It's on Netflix. It's easy. So I had a great time with it. And I feel like it could probably get awards. It was in the Toronto Film Festival. and I wouldn't be surprised if it got some love somewhere. So, Ed, check it out. His 3 daughters.
Hey, me too. No.
Yeah. All right, I will. Ed, let's talk about Ed for a second.
Yeah, I don't want to give too many details away, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. I don't want to give too many details either. You go ahead, because I feel like you're more sensitive. You know what to say, not to say.
Sorry, I just want to say Ed's not here this week. He's probably not going to be here next week. You guys, Ed's out because him and his wife, they welcomed a new baby boy into their family. So they've got a little girl who's 6 years old, and they just got a new baby boy, and their family grew. And it's kind of this very exciting moment for everyone that knows them.
Yeah.
So Ed's going to be out for a while. When he is ready to come back in, he'll jump in. Ed's got a wife recuperating, a 6-year-old daughter, a newborn baby boy, and 2 corgis. Okay.
Oh my God, like, forgot about the corgis.
Yeah, like Ed is not rushing back right now, so we're gonna give him the grace to like go and take care of his family, and we just support him wholeheartedly. So we're gonna have a couple of guests. We're gonna have a couple of episodes, I'm sure, where it's just me and Luis.
Yeah.
But we just, as far as the podcast family goes, we're just so excited for him and so happy. And we love you.
Yeah. Like, say, if you feel free to send some kind words to him at Punch Drunk Nerd.
Yeah.
He probably won't check the Instagram, so we'll screenshot it and then send it to him.
Yeah, we'll send it to him. We'll call him and say, hey, check the.
Yeah. Hey, did you see the Instagram that was commented for you? He's like, no, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll screenshot it. So, if you want to say any kind words, he's doing a great job as a dad already.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see kind of that whole progress. And we're just going to he's on paternity leave from the podcast.
Believe it or not, we gave him that. Okay.
you're allowed to have,
we have the wherewithal to do that. No, go ahead.
So he's going to be gone for a bit. Wish him well. Next week, we're going to talk about, I think I have an idea. Oh, wait a second. Okay. Well, we'll see. You'll find out what we're going to talk about. We're going to figure it out. But until then, it's been me, Luis Gonzalez, and with me has been
Miguel Sanchez.
And until next time, later, Gators.